What's up guys, Jakob Owens here for the Buff Nerds, and today I want to talk to you guys about something that's been weighing heavily on my mind, and that is the overuse and overabuse of gimbals. Everybody and their grandmother has been shooting on gimbals, and only gimbals as it seems. I look around, whether it's on YouTube, Instagram, and just other social media platforms, and it just seems like every single person is shooting every single piece of content on a gimbal. And even recently on my kawaii film I just dropped, I had a bunch of comments about why didn't I use a gimbal to shoot this. That's because I wanted it to feel natural, like you're there with the person, you're exploring. I think people are so caught up in using a gimbal for everything because of two reasons. One, it's a hot trend, and two, they're unable to hold a camera steady and get handheld shots on their own without a gimbal. Now there's some big problems with this in my opinion. Each piece of filmmaking gear is a tool that's to be used to tell your story. When you're building a house, you're not going to use a hammer for every single project around that house. Yes, you're going to use it some of the time, but you're not going to use it for every single little job around the house to build a house. Sometimes you need a saw, sometimes you need a hammer, sometimes you need a wrench. So there's a lot of tools that go into building that house. Same thing goes for filmmaking and building and creating a film or video. You have to use those filmmaking tools at your disposal to elicit an emotion or tell the audience how they're supposed to be feeling in this moment, whether it's a tripod, a dolly shot, a gimbal, handheld. The perfect example that I can give to this is Saving Private Ryan. The opening scene, D-Day, where they storm Normandy Beach and they got this handheld chaotic mess going on. It is a visceral attack on the senses and puts you in the setting with the soldiers, with the people. You feel like you're there with them. It's raw, it's energetic, the shutter's cranked way up, and it feels crazy. If you were to shoot that same scene on a gimbal, by today's standards, because it seems like that's what everyone just shoots on is a gimbal, that scene would not have the same feeling at all. It would lose its allure, its raw, its edgy feel that puts you in that scenario with those soldiers. It'd just be gliding around and it'd be smooth and it wouldn't be chaotic and it just wouldn't have the same emotion. So you need to use your filmmaking tools to create those emotions. With my kawaii film, I wanted to feel like you were there with the person hiking around. So I went everything handheld so it feels like you're there. Had I just gimbaled shot something, it feels like there's a person following. It's too floaty. It doesn't feel natural. There's something off about it. So you need to think critically when it comes to using your filmmaking gear. Going back to gimbals, I'm not knocking gimbals in any way. I've used gimbals before on my shoots in my various music videos, commercials, films, etc. When I filmed Kyle's Doubt It video, I used a gimbal. When I filmed a bunch of Futuristics one takes, I used a gimbal. And there's been other videos where I've used a gimbal as well. But that's because it called for that. I wanted it fit that tone and style of those videos. But I don't use a gimbal for every single thing. There's people that literally use a gimbal for every single shot. And it's because it's a trendy thing right now. It is a trending piece of equipment, and people just think if I throw it on a gimbal, I'm going to look professional. And I'm here to tell you that's not the case. You need to be and think critically when it comes to your filmmaking and your video making experiences, that you think critically about what you want people to feel in this situation when they're watching your video. Again, I've just taken notice of this and it's been something that's been irking me, and I talked about it on my Instagram the other day and I got a ton of feedback of people like, preach, thank you, this is exactly right and all that stuff. So I felt like I needed to make a YouTube video to talk to the filmmakers out there and let people know you don't need a gimbal for every single shot and every single piece of content. Use your gear wisely and don't depend on a gimbal for everything. Again, not knocking gimbals. Gimbals are a great tool, especially if you're trying to hanging out of a car or a van trying to get some smooth tracking shots, or you're doing a long one-take tracking shot. But as far as just throwing it on a gimbal for everything, don't do it. All right, I said all I needed to say. My dogs are going ham barking at something because I think someone's at the door right now. So without further ado, please like, comment, subscribe. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me, I want to hear your opinions and comments. So leave a comment below. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Appreciate you guys for watching. And with that being said, I'm Jakob Owens for the Buff Nerds, and I'm out.